I would be thrilled if, as you hear Scripture and the Lord works in your heart as a young man, that you look at Timothy and you say, I want to be that kind of guy doing that kind of thing. I had conversations with pastors and young men in the last couple weeks. One of our points today, will be a good man is hard to find. Young men who want to go in the ministry are few and far between these days. And as a church, if we are discipling as we ought, what we will see in time is that God will also raise from among Christians in general young men who want to serve the Lord in ministry. And I just want to bare my heart a little bit before we get into the text here. I used to live in the duplex across the street. And I remember for my devotions on my own, I would just go to 1st and 2nd Timothy and I'd read them again and again and again and again and again. And I was looking for the themes in those letters. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be a pastor someday, if I'm doing those kinds of things right now, what is it that Timothy did that Paul tells him to do? And the regular themes and the commands that would come up would be something like guard the deposit of faith, wage the good warfare. Don't be distracted. Don't give yourself to fruitless speculations and arguments and word studies and looking at genealogies and all these things that can be side things, but they don't have to do with promoting the love of Jesus Christ and the love for one another that comes from God's plan of salvation in Jesus Christ. And I thought to myself, if Paul's using all this battle language, guard, 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 defend, 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 wage warfare, and you can do so by the power of the indwelling Spirit who is in you. I don't want to sugarcoat it to the young men and say that coming to the ministry is something easy. Even just being a Christian in general, it's taking up a cross. And it is dying to yourself every single day. And there are tasks that will be difficult. And the Lord sometimes puts you in a vice and a vortex of suffering where nobody knows what's going on but Him and you, but He's doing a mighty work in your heart so that you can be a holier servant in His hand to wield whatever He chooses to do. But I hope as you see some things about Timothy this morning, young man, I pray that as Christ commands us to pray, that even here in this room, the Lord would raise up workers for the harvest, that we would have laborers who go out into the fields, and that the Lord would use us and our young men, and that some of you would stay here. Just as we need to replace one generation to the next, so also we need to replace our leaders. One day, I'll be gone. Or I'll still be here and retired, and I'll be the new Pastor Harding. I'll keep the emeritus on his door, and I'll stick it in my office. I'll say, one day, that's me. Because that means another young man will have taken over the ministry here. There will be other pastors leading you. And I want to say to our young men today, look at Timothy and see who he is.